Welcome to Sage-Based Wisdom. I'm Jana Schmeeding.
And I'm Brian Bahi.
And we're podcasting to you from the sacred homelands of Justin Bieber's Cybertruck.
And Selena Gomez's tennis court.
Today we'll be giving you, our listeners, some advice cultivated indigenously from our backgrounds in boozy coffee drinks.
And Sabrina Carpenter's glove closet.
If you're a frequent listener and want even more of us in your life, and I'm sure you do, because aren't we irresistible, consider to please becoming an official Wise Ass member by going to sagebasedwisdom.supercast.com. You'll get extra content every week and every month. You get an extra episode every month. And this year we're going to be doing some really fun stuff on supercast.com, like discounts on live shows and whatnot.
And we're going to collab with other creators.
Ooh, love that for us.
We're going to collab
with
other OnlyFans creators.
I'm so happy to... Happy New Year, Bri, first of all.
Happy New Year.
What a year.
What a year, and it's only been 2 days.
Yeah. Famously, we are recording this before the new year, but we're pretending like we are kicking off the new year with y'all.
Woo! Countdown.
Count up. Bri, what are some of your goals for the new year? Do you have any goals, or what are they called? Resolutions?
No, I don't really. I've never done resolutions. I never really got what the point of that was. I mean, it's like, it's interesting because it's like, oh, you are trying to improve your life. But it's a little bit like, shouldn't you be doing that every day? Like, why are you just doing this now, once a year? It's
people need a reason to sort of push that reset button. But I think the what it ends up being is just the gyms are so crowded in January.
Crowded. Yeah, make the world your gym.
Make the world your gym and get a trainer so that you can have scheduled gym appointments and you're not taking up all the machines.
Speaking of trainers, I am launching my new online fitness brand, and I will be offering fitness plans, meal plans for only $79.99 a week. You can get access to high quality videos where I walk you through how to, hit the gym correctly in this new year, 2026.
What a fucking scammer, dude. That is such a scam. I love it. I hope you actually do it. But I believe you're just simply too lazy to follow through on this on this scam.
I am
massive scam to run, Bri.
It was as I've said over and over, I'm off TikTok, but I'm still on Instagram. But my Instagram algorithm is only just like these men, essentially porn. It's just like these men who are like with their like online fitness coaching, whatever. And I'm just like, how is everybody like doing online fitness? There's only like 10 people that actually like want to have the capacity to do that. How are there 1,800,000 people doing this?
Listen, in the 20 teens, I made this joke that persists and continues to be relevant to this day, which is all of my friends who sort of were women who were kind of aimless and not aimless, but like didn't really have their life together. They're in their 30s. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. And they all started becoming yoga instructors. And I said this joke, and I will say it again. We need yoga students, okay? You can't have all instructors and no students. We don't have enough people coming to all of your yoga instructing classes. Was simply, some of you need to sort of take a break on your influencing and sort of sit in the listener seat, if you will.
Right. That's so accurate, because we are in the midst of the male version of that right now,
yes.
which I think is so funny.
It is so funny because we're sort of like cresting over whatever Scott Galloway is calling the loneliness crisis, this male loneliness crisis. And men are like, uh-oh, I'm realizing that I have to be a little bit more than what I'm doing. I have to do a little bit more than what I'm doing to sort of be a functioning citizen in the society.
I'll tell you something about Scott Galloway. He wasn't lonely last night. He wasn't lonely last night when I was with Scott Galloway.
Oh, I know you're trying to tap Scott Galloway.
Scott Galloway was not. He was well accompanied.
You and your salt and pepper / full on silver fox centrist Republicans.
Is he Republican?
I don't know how he votes, but he is definitely, he has a pod. One of his
Hey,
podcasts
Scott?
is.
Are you Republican?
I don't think he would. I don't think he would vote as a Republican now. In fact, I know he wouldn't vote as a Republican now. The Republicans are fucked. Democrats are pretty fucked too, but Republicans are severely fucked because now they're basically the KKK.
Mamdani, though.
Mamdani is going to
my mayor,
save us
Mamdani.
all. Now, Mamdani, who is so Ron, he's still sleeping. Yeah, I think we're fucking on two sides of the political spectrum here.
Mm-hmm.
So Bri, no goals for for 2026. Do you have any stand-up goals or comedy goals or like career goals?
Yeah, to
Cool.
do more comedy and stand-up. Yeah, obviously I fell off. I do want to tour again. If you're listening and you want me in your city, please let me know. I would love to know where to go. I feel like last year I went to like the big cities. And also I infamously sold one ticket in Columbus, Ohio and did have to cancel. And the ticket I did sell was to a man who I had hooked up the last time in Columbus, Ohio. Had to personally reach out to him and be like, hey, I'll be there. Here's the ticket link. He bought it. And then the day before the show, my manager was like, hey, so you sold one ticket for the show. Do you want to cancel it? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And then he texts me. He's like, hey, I saw your show was canceled. Will I get a refund? And I said, yeah.
Yeah, you will be getting a refund on that, bud. I would love to see you out on the. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you're working on a show. It's hard when you're writing on a show to be out and about in these streets.
For sure.
It requires a lot of energy, but I believe in you, Bri. I believe in you.
Okay.
I certainly want to see more Brian Bahi. I would love to see a Brian Bahi Netflix special, if pos. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with, Netflix, HBO, Warner, blah blah blah. But I would love to see sort of an hour long from Brian Bahi. Not to put that on your.
I mean, obviously that is the goal. I would love to do an hour.
Obviously, it's not obvious.
It's like crazy. Yeah, I want to do an hour, which I have done, but obviously I want it to be like incredible.
Yeah, and it would be. It will be.
Yeah.
And I feel like, the audience is there. We want it. We need it. We haven't had a native like stand-up star in a really long time.
Yeah, just me and Steve Coulier. Steve Coulier, who sweat lodged with Iron Ice Cody, so he's kind of part of the tribe.
One of my goals this year is to sell a TV show.
Ooh.
I want to sell a pilot. I need to sell a pilot.
That's big.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, again, who knows what's going to happen in our industry, but I have been reading. I've been sort of keeping my peepers on the social media about these monopoly mergers and what it means. And a lot of people have been saying that because of this AI sort of bullshit that's been happening in our industry, the overwhelming push to like incorporate AI into film and TV, and fire all of the creatives. I don't get it. That mixed with the horror show that is our government, and sort of the mean girlness and the non-compassion that we've been seeing, that this year, 2026, the year of it's the year of like compassionate, heartwarming, kindness, love. We're coming back to analog. We're getting in touch with our human. It's humanist, right? We are humans. We're going to see a pushback against this mean, cruel, robotic nature that powerful white men are trying to push us toward, and that to me means that I might get money to make my movie.
That's great. We're kind of entering a Paddington era, if you will.
It's our Paddington era.
We want warmth. We want comfort. We want something soft.
We want soft. We want funny, silly. Like we want human beings who are flawed, but also, just like. We need and I feel like people are like pushing toward that, but like that's right in my wheelhouse. Sweet and salty. So I want to make my movie and I want to sell a show.
Let's do it.
All right, Bri, we have some TikToks to watch. Here we go. Let me just figure out how to do it. I'm gonna do this one first and then we can do the other one.
Okay.
Speaking of pieces of shit. Okay. She really butchered Sisseton Wapaton.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, what's going on? Listen. You are bigger than me now at this point, though.
Yeah, you're bigger than me. I think that is sort of maybe how they're trying to do it. Anyway, Sisseton Wapaton, Dakota, is Bobby Dews Wilson.
So is Bobby related to Kristi then? Because I do see it when I look at him.
Oh,
and the way he acts.
Burn! It's all that lip filler that Bobby's been getting. It's all that lip filler and all those sort of hair what do you call them, clip-ins? All the clip-in pieces to his braid.
Of course, we're referring to Bobby Dews, friend of the podcast, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Listen, I hate Kristi Noem. As you know, I hate Kristi Noem. I hate her whole family. And I don't know, again, we're recording this before the actual New Year. So I don't know. Maybe she's been fired by now, but something tells me not yet. But at the very least, I will say this again, for the millionth fucking time, that we as Native people have a sacred responsibility to drag her ass to hell. The bitch, it comes from a long line of colonizers. She's a fucking loser. And I said this on the last episode. I spoke very ill of her on our Sage-Based Wisdom Live last episode. And I sort of got a lot of feedback from our listening audience saying, you go, girl. Say more. So here I am saying more and just reaffirming that I do hope Kristi Noem gets hit by a slow-moving bus that sort of just runs her over.
And I want to reiterate what I have said, which is that Brian Noem is hands-off. Natives stand down when it comes to Brian Noem. Leave. I got him. Don't worry about it.
Don't touch him. Yeah, good job. Okay, that is my Kristi Noem. That's a little bit of history, and I do feel like, just to like pepper in some actual history, like that's not just Kristi Noem's family. That's sort of
so basically whoever this is in her family, they got a chunk of land that is on what is now native land. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, that's how a lot of white people ended up in the Dakotas and in the United States, obviously.
So they were just randomly buying land?
The government was randomly selling off parcels of land because not only was that they were creating land grants so that
to encourage people to move here?
To encourage white people to come and live on that land.
Fuck, this is just me learning about my own history.
Not you learning about Western expansion / colonization on January 5th, 2026. Brian.
I'm like, wait, what? That's crazy.
Wait, so they bought the land? Wait, you're saying that they were kind of granted the land by the U.S. government?
Look, this is why we have to also reiterate that natives are not a monolith. Some of us are unaware. But also, this is just like not my personal history. I'm Southwest vibes.
Yeah, but I think that the Southwest vibes, you know, it would be interesting to hear about what the Southwest, like, colonization looked like, because there's much more, obviously, like, Spanish missions.
I feel like it had way more of a religious component, and also just a straight up like, we're gonna fucking go to war and take this. It was more hand-to-hand combat, I feel like.
Oh. Less guns, more weapons.
No, there was guns on their side, but not on ours.
Yeah. You guys were sort of rocks. throwing rocks.
Yeah, we were like Three Ninjas vibes, if you remember that movie. We're kind of hiding in the trees.
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
I think I know so much about my nation's colonization just because I think it's like some of the more discussed. Certainly, like even California natives' colonization is like really erased, and Northeastern, like early colonization, like early arrival. Those Northeastern tribal nations like don't have a lot of play, but like the Indian Wars sort of gets a lot of like airtime. But I like to remind people that white people do not belong kind of on these lands, and Kristi Noem especially, like the mean ones especially don't belong, but like I've been traveling, as you know, like the last few months to a lot of different places, and everywhere I go that is not a city, and sometimes even cities, I'm kind of like, why are white people here? I don't get it. Like, why are there white people in South Dakota? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
When I go to Rapid City, South Dakota, my sacred homelands, my homelands, I'm like, why are there white people here?
I wonder if that's why white people are deeply unhappy.
I mean, that plus a lot, but yes, like, I mean, it just, they don't belong. They don't belong.
Yeah.
It's giving deport them. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, Bri, politically, but I am, you know, I'm sort of like following in Kristi Noem's footsteps in a way where I'm like, yeah, it's weird that white people are here. We should denormalize that white people exist in some of these regions and get, you know, kind of call ice on them.
A delocation in a way.
Yes. White relocation. White Relocation Act of 2026.
Right.
I think we have enough political context that we can write up a White Relocation Act, because the Native people, as you know, there's the Relocation Act that got a bunch of Native people off of their original lands, and that was an act that passed through Congress. And
perhaps I could, in a think local. Act locally, think globally type of way. I wonder if I start going door to door to my neighbors, knock knock. Hi, I see you're white. Have you considered relocating? Here are some options.
What are the options, though? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm sort of like, where the options to me are not in North America.
You're saying send them back to Europe? Yeah. Because
that's where the whites come from, really.
Yeah. It's like, look, I got you the Spirit airline voucher, and here's a meal ticket. If you act fast, there's a family over there ready to, with open arms.
Take you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get them all back west to Europe if we can. And make America brown again. I feel I'm like Mabba. I'm sort of like the only people that belong here actually are like anyone brown and black.
Yeah. Melanin. Where do you stand on does anybody get a pass for you?
Whites.
Yeah.
I think
Good
that, yeah.
drummers.
I think we do need to make some passes, and the passes are going to be like sort of the whites that have like married in.
Whites that married in. Okay.
Yeah, whites that married in are kind of like in, like my white dad, for example. My white dad sometimes is more Lakota than the rest of us. I don't know how, I don't know why, but like he was,
Yeah.
raised by my Lakota grandparents, and he just like married my mom very early, so he's sort of part of the nation, unfortunately,
Right.
and forge, sometimes it's nice to have. And I think that as Indigenous people, and especially Lakota people, we're generous. We're very generous, and in the beginning we were too generous. We're generous and much to our own detriment. We're too generous toward the whites.
I propose that every Native person gets 5 whites that they can give a pass to. But you, as a Native person, you can use up one of those 5 passes to veto somebody else's pass.
Whoa! So now we're doing like white elephant rules.
So say somebody's like, Britney Spears gets a pass, which I think she shouldn't. But then somebody else is like, actually, I'm going to use one of my passes to not. Britney Spears actually does not get a pass, so now she's back out.
Right.
I think that could be interesting. Obviously, I would use all of my 5 white passes. 4 of them for Brian Noem, 1 of them for Chapel Rowan.
Yeah, I think Chapel will. I don't know if you need to use your pass for Chapel. I feel like some people are really going to go for celebs with their passes.
Right. Which I think is the right move.
Yeah, I think
we need to keep the entertainment
protected.
We need to try to keep LA an entertainment hub. So we're gonna need those celebs here.
But I challenge natives to sort of not choose like a Sydney Sweeney. No offense, Sydney, but like the kind of the flops, they gotta go. They gotta go.
Right. So who's
I do kind of consider her a flop.
Who's making your list? Do you think? Who are the 5 that are making your list?
Celebs?
Yeah, that you would hope stay here. Use your passes for in a way.
I am going to choose Ed Helms because he was my co-star on Rutherford Falls and is a deep ally and is also a producer on my first feature film.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my passes. I'm also going to give a pass to my boyfriend, Steve. He's not a celeb, but is very important to me, and I need him to be with me on this journey. I'm gonna give a pass to who am I thinking of that did School of Rock and
Jack Black.
Jack Black is getting one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And this is tough. I can't list them off right now, but like I'm just gonna say right now Ed Helms and Jack Black.
Okay.
Who do you have on your list of non
I'm going to say Paul Mezcal can stay.
Okay.
I'm going to fight really hard.
Is he an ally? Do you think he's a kind of
a native ally?
Yeah. Is he going to do good for us? Is he going to do...
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he also British? Like, he doesn't necessarily...
He's
does
Irish.
he live here? He doesn't need a pass. He doesn't need a pass.
No! I want
Irish people don't need a pass. Irish are in. Irish are Indigenous.
Pierce Brosnan. I just pick
you
British people.
only pick British whites. No, they have to be homegrown, American raised.
Meryl Streep?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. She should definitely get a pass.
Yeah. Colin Firth. I'm just listening
Also
to Mamma Mia
British.
cast.
Amanda Seyfried?
I do want to say, because I do think that people would try to veto her, New York from I Love New York /
Tiffany Pollard?
Yes. Tiffany Pollard, because she's DJing in West Hollywood in the new year.
Is? Oh
yeah.
my god. Amazing.
So I definitely want her to keep that gig.
Yeah, for sure. Any other podcasters that you want to give a pass to? I think Gianmarco Scorsese is pretty funny, and I've been enjoying his pod.
I do enjoy John Marco. I did early in my comedy career take a 6-hour long drive with him to a comedy festival in Pittsburgh. So we were driving from New York to Pittsburgh.
And did you have a good time?
He spent the whole time workshopping jokes on me and the driver. But that work ethic, though, you got to admire it.
6
but
hours.
But I love Gianmarco.
That's fun. Yeah, I feel like I've reached the end of my list. The rest of y'all are getting relocated to abroad. So sorry. You had your chance to sort of make it right. And you've blown it. It's kind of a bummer to have to tell you all that Brian and I are writing a White Relocation Act, and I think that the Trump admin and our current Congress, I think that they would sort of, if we fit it into a defense bill or some kind, we sort of sneak it into sort of something else. I
sneak
think
it
that
into
they would
us.
pass it.
Sneak it into us declaring war on a different country. I think
Yes.
we might have to do that. It's the byproduct, but
Right. We would have to sort of bomb another country and then also do a white relocation in the process.
It is kind of scary to think about that. Like, in order for something so revolutionary to happen, I think it would require natives to fully just become war criminals.
Well, the Prairie Band Potawatomi, they tried recently.
What did they do?
Prairie Band Potawatomi has a separate, this is at the end of 2025, they have a separate corporation, I think, that they run that is through the tribe, but also like not affiliated, but they had invested in and got a bunch of money from Department of Homeland Security to build a ton of ICE detention centers, aka prisons.
Oh wait, I saw this.
You saw.
That is so fucking crazy.
Indian country went fucking ballistic about it, and as we should, and was like, what? I'm sorry, what? And then the Prairie Band Potawatomi, the nation or the corporation, fired their CEO. I'm pretty sure they still accepted the money, like, for the thing. Like, they're still gonna go through with the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they could back out of that, but they fired the CEO of that corporation and have since
I did through Indeed this week submit an application to be the CEO.
Oh, cool, for the Prairie Band Potawatomi.
Yes.
Great. I mean, listen, they're doing amazing things.
Here's what I'm saying. Maybe we do kind of just like let it play out, see where it goes. Maybe they're actually onto something, and they're like, look, it's gonna look bad at first, but ultimately, trust us.
Oh my God. I wish that we were that brilliant that we could be like, yeah, we're gonna give us a bunch of money, we're gonna build you ICE detention centers, and what they're actually building are sort of detention centers for our White Removal Act.
Yeah,
we have to kind of keep some of them in detention before we actually ship them off. We need places to store these whites.
Look, Prairie Band Potawatomi tribe, if you need a consultant or just like, I'm really trying to get in there,
listen,
get on the ground floor.
Get in the ground floor, make it right. Like, this is what restorative justice is you sort of have to apologize, take responsibility for your actions, and then make it right. And this is a way I really believe get involved with the White Relocation Act.
This would be cool. I wonder if this is what they're doing, / I hope this is what they're doing. It's like they're building these ICE detention centers. People, that are brought there by ICE, they are put in these detention centers. But the Potawatomi tribe, they built tunnels. So they're actually letting these people free and replacing them with kind of stuffed dummies in a way.
God. See, now, again, would we had access to sort of the theatrical arts in Indian country? The ways that we could trick these whites.
If we had native puppeteers, you know, that could that were well trained in mimicking believable human movement.
Right.
That's actually not a bad idea, because then Potawatomi, they get this money. They're freeing the people. Fight the power.
Fight the power from the inside. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on. What are we doing out here? Don't actually build prison. What are you doing? Don't actually build detention centers. Are you insane? Do you know? It's giving Brian Bahi not knowing your own history. But
look, they're job creators. You know, people have to build these detention centers. That's 10,000 jobs right there.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're thinking is like, this is a massive amount of money. I mean, this is why capitalism doesn't work in American capitalism doesn't really work in tribal economies. It's like, you get money from the government and it comes with a lot of strings attached.
This is almost like, this feels like, I feel like this would be me if I had any political power. It's like, oh, I'm like, great news, everybody. I'm like at a press conference. I'm like, great news, everybody. We got the bid. We're going to build ICE detention centers. But meanwhile, in my head, I just think it's like big freezers for ice cubes. I'm like, back to talking to my sister. I'm like, they didn't seem that into it. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why they don't want ice? Like, don't they like cold drinks? I see them drinking iced coffee.
It's giving Brian was sleeping through the entire year 2025 when our entire culture was overrun by ice. Brian was out having his sex addiction, completely forgot about the fact that
I'm trying to give out. I have like a T-shirt cannon that's with shirts that just say "I heart ice," and so, like people are actively like dodging them. They don't want to get, they don't want to be on the receiving end of that T-shirt cannon.
Get that T-shirt cannon out of my face. All right, Brian, let's listen to a voice message. I have actually two voice messages that are very similar, so I'm going to play them both, all right?
So, what's up, thing again? Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm looking for advice about my career. So basically, I'm in the legal field, and I'm working with my community, and I love it, but it's getting very stressful. It's getting really hard on my mental health because of all the shitty-ass policies. And so I'm just trying to think, like, am I falling into a trap where my job and my life is centered around helping my people, and it's causing me all the stress and I'm not living my life. But I really can't imagine doing another job. So yeah, my question and hoping to get advice is, should I change my career? How do I know when to put myself first when I'm doing a job that is to help myself and my community? Doing this job that I love, but is very much affecting, I think, my mental health and my health. Yeah, would love to hear from you. Love the freaking show. Bye.
Hello.
Yeah.
So my question, what I need advice on is, I've been in the nonprofit legal world for about a decade now, and thinking about making the switch to private. And I feel like I'm going to be doing the same exact work, helping people in the same way, but it'll be private and I'll be getting paid more and we will be charging. So I feel like that's holding me back, but I think it's time for me to make more money and I deserve that. And the mobility in a nonprofit is so hard with that. You get capped out at a certain point. So yeah, I'm just wondering, like, what should I do? Make the jump, never look back? Or is there something else I should be considering? Thank you. Love the show.
All right. 2 career/job related questions.
Yeah, I think when it comes to career and jobs, well, actually, no, here's what I'll say.
Wow.
I do have a thought on that, but I think the first one is more a universal answer, which is very much you do have to like put yourself first, which I feel like is antithetical to a lot of native what we're taught like, you know, community, family, help each other out, which I do think agree with and I think is important to practice. But I think there is something to taking time for yourself and really prioritizing yourself, especially when you have a job that is demanding. I think you need to almost make taking care of yourself the priority and make your job secondary. I think, you can't have your job be your life, even if it is something that, you know, when you think about your identity, it's like it can't just be your job. It needs to be, you know, who you are as a person and what your life is outside of your job.
I know it's so much easier to say than do, though. When I hear people say like you can't make your job your whole identity, sort of like discounting the fact that everybody's out here. American culture is like grind culture, right? It's like hustle culture. Your job is your life. You're being paid not enough to live unless you work your fucking ass off. A lot of folks are out here working like 3 or 4 jobs to make ends meet, and myself included. I'm like, the way that I have in 2025 been such a gig worker, going from, I have not had like a stable job for a year, 2 years now. And so that requires that I'm like traveling, speaking, doing things that I don't necessarily want to be doing for my job, but I do them anyway because I need to make a living. And thank God I have that opportunity to do that. But like, it's so hard when you're doing a job, and especially when you're doing a job that you don't like, to come home every day and be like, now I have to do my hobby because that's my real life. You know what I'm talking about as a person who is working all the time now, and probably, I mean, you probably have a little less energy to be doing stand-up, which is like your first love, right? Do you find that it's like sort of hard to come by that time and energy to like be a stand-up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very difficult. But I don't think it's like, I'm not like, I think framing it of like coming home from work, you're exhausted and being like, I have to do my hobby. It's more like I get to do my hobby. I think it's more like you kind of do what feels right.
Yeah, I know. And I guess like I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I want our listeners to like take the onus off of themselves, thinking that they're not doing it right, because it's kind of hard to do it right. You know, it's in our culture. It's like hard to like be a working person who is also pursuing their hobby. It's a real fucking grind.
I think like when I think about jobs that I've had that, you know, office jobs, and even though office jobs, you know, that was more like you clock in and you clock out. But then there was this like, but you kind of do have to, did you see this email that was sent at 7 or something like that? And it's, you know, a lot of times people were still on the clock even when they weren't technically at work. I don't think it needs to be like that. And there were some people sometimes at these jobs that were like, look, when I'm not at work, I'm not at work. And like having a firm boundary like that was never met with like, this isn't good. It was always met with like, oh, that's like how it should be. It was always like people were impressed when somebody was able to be like, hey, when I'm not at work, I'll get to something when I'm back. Yeah. And I think that's more how it should be. And sometimes you might need to be the person to lead that charge in a way.
Well, definitely you need to be that person to lead that charge in your own life. And I will say this, that like when I was in my 30s and living in New York, when I left school and went down to Midtown to do comedy of whatever iteration it was at the time, I was leaving work at work. Like I wasn't thinking about both things at once. So it is possible, but sometimes I think you actually need to be like doing the other thing, and it requires your focus to do it, and you almost need to like not go home in between leaving work and then doing the thing that you actually want to be doing. Like, give us more third spaces where somebody can like go leave work and go do their pottery class or whatever the fuck you want to be doing as your like creative outlet. Because if I would have gone home every day after school, I would have taken a long nap, then start sort of smoking weed or drinking when I wake up, eat a dinner, and then go watch 4 hours of television and then go back to sleep and do it all over. Like, that's the cycle that I like pine for. I would love to just be sitting around all day doing absolutely fucking nothing. I'm in my loser era.
I feel like, but what this caller I feel like was talking about was like she's so burnt out on this job and it's taking so much from her and it's almost forcing her to want to do a career change. Yeah. And I'm saying if you really like this job, you like the work that you're doing, it is exhausting, then I think you need to, I don't think doing it is the, like leaving it completely is the right answer. I think, or maybe it is, but I think maybe the first step, instead of just like abruptly leaving it, is to first take a step back, do less of it, draw some boundaries, see if that does anything. And if you still feel like that you don't have time to just like nurture yourself, then maybe kind of like see if there are options of leaving this job.
I did hear some advice years ago that I I think I've said it on the pod a couple times, but I'll say it again. If you are working at a job that you're like, I like it, but I don't love it, or I hate it, you should be the second to the last person about to get fired.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much effort you should be putting into it. If they're going to start laying people off, you should be like top of that layoff list. You should be close to the top.
Because then you'll get severance pay?
Yeah, but I think it's less about like what's going to happen when you do get fired and more the attitude that you should be bringing to your work. That's how much energy you should be giving it. You don't give a fuck about it. If they could fire you and you don't care.
I think that I agree with that, but not. I think you should need to have that if you actively don't like this job. Yeah, I think if you like the job but you don't love it, then it's like you should be given a little bit more than sure. Second to, maybe be like fourth or fifth to last.
Sure. Yeah. Your level of like how close you are to being fired, like should be relative to how much you like the job.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with that is I have a really hard time. Whatever job I do, I am going to work hard at it because I'm a fucking people pleaser, and it's a problem for me that I worked hard at jobs that I really didn't like for a long time. And it was not worth it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, like, I think working sucks. Like, it sucks that we have to have jobs.
Boy.
But I do think, it's ultimately we do need to support ourselves and sometimes others. And I think in that scenario, it's more like, all right, find something that you like, that you kind of enjoy doing, or maybe you don't maybe you don't love it, but you've in the process of working this job or like this career, you figure out a way to make it yours and like take some ownership of it, and you're able to work with it in a way where you're like, okay, this is actually really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
And it's something that I feel like I have some ownership of.
Yeah. The first voicemail was also kind of saying like, and I put these two callers together because they're both kind of similarly asking the same question. One is like, I work for a nonprofit and I'm looking at working for a private sector. I'd be making more money in doing similar work. And then the other one is saying, I work for my tribe, I work for my people, and it's really fucking tough, and I just like don't know if I should carry on. And I think that nonprofit work can be thankless sometimes. Sometimes it can be an easy paycheck. I find, having worked for a few nonprofits in my life now, that there's a difference between a nonprofit that is doing really effective work in the community and a nonprofit that is just spending that foundation money on just some of the dumbest bullshit.
Totally.
Paying the salaries of 10 people who aren't doing fucking shit.
They're spending the grant funding on bucket hats for dogs.
Yeah. Yes. Bucket hats for dogs, and also like galas and whatnot,
right.
It's like that is kind of, and what I'm saying is, if you're in one of those, like, this is a bullshit nonprofit that's not really doing anything, lucky you. Lucky you to be cashing in on that little paycheck and skating on by. You don't have to be putting that much effort into it. Should you move to the private sector? Sure. If you want to make a little bit more money, but also be expected to work a lot harder. I feel like the job requirements for a nonprofit are so much lower than
for sure
for a job, for another job. They're going to be so much more lenient on you in a job like that.
Yeah.
But also having done work for my people, and it's and I also like work and am friends with and work alongside a bunch of people who also work for their people and have worked for organizations that work directly with folks on the reservation, and frontline work, like really important fucking work.
Yeah.
And there's a range of that in our communities. Important to unimportant bullshit stuff. Native people, I think folks, I just give huge props to people who are out here doing work with our people, because our people need a lot of help. Mm-hmm. We live in a huge deficit in so many ways. Just also, like, we are some of the most impoverished communities in the United States. Hence, sort of, we need a White Relocation Act. We just, like, they're taking all of our jobs. So I'm sort of like, if that job is taking too much from you personally, part of like breaking the generational curse of like giving back too much and not having any for yourself, like that, you gotta cut that off.
Yes.
Because that will kill you. Like, it fucking will kill you. Like, it will. Having that level of energy that is like not really reciprocated, this is like what I'm talking about with our communities, is like our people need a lot, and there's not a lot of our like sacred culture of reciprocity is not necessarily practiced, so it's thankless work.
What you're saying, I think almost like by helping yourself, by putting yourself first, in a way, you might even be helping more people if you do that, rather than spreading yourself thin and trying to help others.
Yes, you have to stay healthy to
because
like help other people.
If you're like really prioritizing yourself and putting doing the work to make the best version of yourself possible, that almost in a way it will show itself to the people around you. And that actually could be doing way more work than you think it is, but it actually is great, rather than like the people around you being like, this bitch is busted. I don't know if she's okay. She says she wants to help, but I don't know if, she has the bandwidth or something. It's like,
yeah,
you don't want people to worry about you or something.
No. And also, like, you will die. That's
totally.
That's how much need is in our communities, that you will kill yourself trying to help our communities.
For
so
sure.
It's definitely a delicate balance, and it's such important work, and we absolutely need all of the work that we're doing for our tribal nations and for our small communities. Like, it's such important work. I think that until we build a sustainable model for making sure that our people have what they need to survive, like basic survival shit, again, shout out White Relocation Act, would love. until we build a sustainable model for our people to survive, like that, the position of working for a nonprofit that helps in the community, it's going to have a real high turnover rate. And that's just the nature of it. You're going to get burned out quick. And if you keep going with it, you're going to die early. I said this about teaching in the Bronx, too, because they're employing all these young teachers that come out of Teach for America and the New York City teaching fellows. I was a New York City teaching fellow. They're funneling through people. And Teach for America people, like, it was a 2-year turnaround. They would teach for 2 years in a high-need public school and be like, I'm out. I'm going to go be a lawyer or something, you know, like I'm going to go get paid real money. This is bullshit.
Infamously, I did apply for Teach for America, was rejected.
Yeah, listen, Brian, I love you.
In my head, I was so ready to be Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds. I was ready to go in there, teach these kids poetry, and be like, look, it gets better.
I'm so glad that you didn't get hired so that the the students of wherever you were going to teach wouldn't completely break your spirit and eat you alive.
I wanted books thrown at me.
Yeah, you would have. You would have. You would have gotten all of that. But as somebody who experienced that and being called a fat bitch by my students all the time,
that's so crazy.
Listen, I taught the students the students who were the hardest kids. And I only did it for 10 years, and
did
that's
you wear a
all
leather
I could
jacket
take.
When you went?
Never. Oh. I was dressing in the teacheriest. I was trying to unsexify myself so much because I had middle school boys, predominantly middle school and high school boys.
I would go in being like, I want them to think that like I ride a motorcycle into work.
Well, yeah, I guess there's that approach. I just wanted them to know how to read.
I would trick them into thinking reading is cool.
There's a lot of trickery happening, for sure. Oh, I was tricking them right and left. I was tricking them into being like little leaders. Like I was like, we're going to play improv games and shit. Like that was my...
Little leaders.
Little leaders.
Little improv leaders.
I'm going to teach y'all how to be little leaders.
Teaching in classroom with little Chris Gethards.
Understand mental illness. But yeah, I think ultimately 10 years was my tap out point when I basically was like, listen, I can't do this anymore. It is going to kill me and truly turn me into the fat bitch that I'm being called by my students. And I have to pursue my passion.
Wait, so this kind of makes me feel what I wanted to say earlier, but this is in regard to more of the second caller, which is that like, I do think, so when I was in New York working day jobs and shit, trying to support my thriving stand-up career, aka me doing open mics, I was always like constantly faced with like, I just think that like if you have the feeling of like I want a career change, I need a career change, you have to follow it. There's something about you, if you're having that thought, it's a little bit of like then you're having the thought, and once you have the thought, it's almost like you need to follow through with it. Otherwise, you're just gonna spend so much mental space and energy being like, what would things be different if I had followed this career change thought?
I feel that way about breakups too, where I'm like, if the thought is kind of lingering around, like I might need to break up with this person, then you need to address it.
Totally.
Something's going on. But yeah, I feel this. I agree with you. I do think like, and I encourage career change as a thing. I think, as millennials, I'm a geriatric millennial, and you're sort of right in the cusp, or right in the pocket, the millennial pocket.
Gen Z. I'm kind of late. I'm kind of late Gen Z.
No, I would mostly just say that you're actually just a millennial right there. You might be almost a geriatric. No, you're not. You're a millennial through and through. But millennials are gig economy, like sort of. We have shattered the reality of having one job your entire, like my dad was a school teacher. He taught high school, middle school, and high school, and he was a teacher from when he was in his early 20s until he retired at whatever 60 years old. Like he was not even escalating in the school system and becoming an administrator. He was a classroom teacher from beginning to end. And to me, that is not how we live anymore. Very few people are holding one job for the entirety of their career. We're sort of like having multiple careers and then having gig work here and there. And
there's a part of me that always was like, why would anybody even want to work one job forever? Like because I'm like, doesn't that like, don't you want to switch it up? Like I feel like, I don't know if I heard this or if I had this thought of like, I feel like we should be forced to, everybody across the board should be forced to do a career change at like 40 or 45 or something. Like we start doing one thing and then once we hit 40 or 45, you have to change and do something different.
It's sort of like from 20 to 40, you have sort of whatever your early year lives. And then from 40 to 60, you have your later year career or something, if you don't, already switch it up all the time. But I do think that like people of my parents' generation chose that life because stability.
For sure.
That's why. And people who are our age, we didn't really have a choice. Like,
right.
And I think we were also raised with this thing that's like, chase your dreams. Chase your dreams. So we all decided to be poor artists. And I feel like I still am kind of a poor artist. And now I'm in the second half of the career, like you said. And boy, is it tough.
I don't think I feel like sometimes I do think about doing open mics in New York, and it was like, I feel like the dynamic was always like 50% just kind of like young, borderline disillusioned people like myself that like really just wanted to do this, and then the other 50% were like pretty like head on their shoulders people with like careers. They were showing up like in dress slacks and dress shirts from work or something, and they were like also curious about this thing, but they had done the smart thing and done a career that with a job that pays them well. And I feel like a lot of them made the right choice and just like they did comedy for a year, and then they're like, what the fuck am I doing? I have this other job.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, that actually almost may have been the right choice.
Yeah. But I do think if you're having sort of like, I'm ready to change my careers, one of our audience members at the Sage Based Wisdom Live that I think that we weren't able to publicize was like, I just took an improv class and I loved it so much, and now I think I'm quitting my job as like a scientist to become an improviser. And I go, whoa, there are no jobs like that. That job don't exist.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but she was genuine. She was genuinely like, now I'm rethinking everything. I've tried this new thing and I love it so much, and I'm rethinking everything. Let yourself think on it. Before I changed careers from being a teacher to trying to write for television, which was ultimately like a 2 to 3 year process in its entirety, and it takes some people much longer. But before I quit my teaching job, I gave myself an entire year. I think I stayed a year too long, but I needed a year to get my financial bearings and get all of my ducks in a row. And I needed that. I needed that time to like sort of like plan for a career change.
Yeah, I mean, we should all know how to pivot.
We should let ourselves also take time with a pivot. But just like give yourself time to think on it before you just axe your job and walk out. In this economy, make a strategic plan. That's my advice. Make a strategic plan.
Be thoughtful. Pros and cons list.
Pros and
maybe
cons.
Watch
a budget.
Maybe watch the entire series of Gilmore Girls, and by the end of it, if you still feel like how you feel. I think that TV show profoundly impacted my life and how I approach career.
Yeah?
I think all the answers are contained within Gilmore Girls.
Wow. That's insightful. I've never watched not one episode.
Wow.
You know why? Because I've turned it on and I'm like, this is so verbose. The way that they are talking, the dialogue in this show is so insanely...
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. the way they're talking to each other.
But I fucking love it.
It's so verbose. But maybe I should get into it this holiday season.
Yeah, I encourage that and our listeners.
Everybody, check out Gilmore Girls to get your career on track.
And your life.
And your life.
Because what you learn about Gilmore Girls is like you get your life and career on track, but then it also falls off the fucking rails. But then you learn to pick yourself up.
Yes.
You learn from your mistakes.
Yes, sisters. You learn how to pick yourself back up with the help of the women in your life.
Yes.
As long as you have women in your life that are supportive, you can do fucking anything. Am I wrong, Bri?
You're not wrong.
Like, if you had no women in your life,
I need the women in my life.
what would you do? You would just have nothing but a porn addiction.
What?
You would be nothing but a walking porn addiction, Bri. Maybe with a horse.
Maybe.
Imagine. You didn't have, like, what would you do? What would you even do?
I don't know.
You would just be out here fucking, getting fucked, sucking and fucking endlessly, and, like, that's it. Then there would be nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
With that. Is there anything you want to plug in the new year, Bri? You have any shows coming up? Anything we want to watch out for? I wish.
I mean, I do. If you're in the LA area, the Los Angeles area, we have our first Star Fuckers of the year. Me and co-host Amy Silverberg, friend of the show,
Friend of the pod.
We have a monthly-ish stand-up show at the Hollywood Improv Lab. And you know, we book loosely based on astrology signs. So, this one will be January 28th at 8:30. Buy those tickets. Ticket link in bio.
Ticket link in his bio. Check it out. And I have nothing to plug, but please, give us money. Tell your friends about the pod, and become a wise ass, because that is really, hopefully, at the end of this year, would love to be sort of making ends meet with sage-based wisdom.
And
that is all the time we have today. We hope our wisdom made your life better, but we will not be issuing refunds if it didn't.
If you or anyone you know needs advice, has a question, or just wants to chat, leave us a message. There's 3 ways to do that, and you can find them in the show notes. We'll give you our smudgiest, sagiest, solicited advice.
As always, please follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and please follow us on YouTube. I hope you're watching us on YouTube. It's really fun. And again, support our work by becoming an official wise ass by going to sagebasedwisdom.supercast.com. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Agone.
Toksha.